The early morning sun, a soft amber glow, bathed the bustling streets of Lahore, casting long shadows and bringing a gentle warmth to the waking city. Dramatic background music starts. The year was 1991. The air, still cool and clear before the day's heat, carried the scent of jasmine and freshly baked roti, mingling with the earthy aroma of the city itself. Rickshaws darted through the labyrinthine alleys, their bells chiming a chaotic symphony, a familiar sound that echoed through the narrow streets. Shopkeepers, their faces etched with the weariness of generations past, unshuttered their shops, preparing for the day's trade, their movements a well-rehearsed dance of routine and tradition. Life, in all its vibrant chaos and quiet despair, pulsed through the heart of Lahore, a city teeming with stories of joy and sorrow, hope and despair. But high above the city's clamor, nestled in the affluent neighborhood of Shahi Mohalla, stood a house shrouded in an unsettling stillness, a stark contrast to the lively streets below. It was a grand residence, its white walls gleaming in the sunlight, a silent testament to the wealth it contained, standing proudly amidst the opulence of its surroundings. Yet, behind its opulent facade, a darkness festered, hidden from the unsuspecting eyes of the city below, a secret that would soon unravel. This was the home of Javed Iqbal, a man whose name would forever be etched in the annals of Lahore's history, not for his wealth, but for the monstrous secrets that lurked within him, secrets that would shock the world. Dramatic background music fades. The Iqbal residence was a world unto itself. High walls, topped with shards of glass, shielded the house from prying eyes. The garden, once a riot of color, now lay neglected, the rose bushes withered, the fountain dry. The only sign of life was the occasional rustle of leaves as a stray cat slunk through the undergrowth, its eyes wary, as if sensing the palpable aura of unease that permeated the very air. Inside, the house was a shrine to opulence and suffocating order. Expensive carpets muffled every footstep, and the air hung heavy with the scent of sandalwood and dust. Javed Iqbal, the youngest of 6 sons, had inherited the house, and with it the weight of his family's expectations. He was a man of wealth and privilege, yet he carried himself with an air of detachment, as if the world and its concerns were beneath his notice. Javed's childhood had been a gilded cage, shaped by his parents' contrasting personalities. His father, a successful businessman, was a distant figure, more concerned with his business dealings than with the emotional needs of his children. Javed's mother, however, was a force of nature. Domineering and controlling, she ruled the household with an iron fist, her word absolute. She had pinned her hopes and aspirations on her youngest son, showering him with material possessions while simultaneously smothering him with her suffocating love. Javed, starved for genuine affection, grew to resent his mother's intrusive presence, her constant reminders of his failures, her relentless comparisons to his more successful brothers. Rejection had become a recurring theme in Javed's young life. He was an awkward, introverted child, uncomfortable in social situations. His classmates, sensing his vulnerability, taunted him mercilessly, their cruel words leaving invisible scars that ran deeper than any physical wound. Javed retreated further into himself, finding solace in his own company, his only companions the books he devoured with an insatiable hunger. He craved connection, ached for acceptance, but each attempt to reach out was met with indifference or worse, ridicule. The sting of each rejection chipped away at his already fragile self-esteem, leaving him feeling like an outcast, an aberration in a world that seemed to have no place for him. The seeds of resentment, sown in the fertile ground of his loneliness, began to take root, twisting and contorting into something dark and dangerous. Section 5. The Solitary Boy. As Javed grew older, his isolation deepened, becoming more pronounced with each passing year. He had no close friends, no confidants to share his innermost thoughts and fears, leaving him feeling utterly alone. He moved through the world like a ghost, unnoticed, unremarkable, and often invisible to those around him. He found solace in solitude, spending hours lost in his own thoughts, his mind a labyrinth of dark fantasies and suppressed rage, a place where he felt in control. He developed a fascination with power, with the idea of bending others to his will, a desire that grew stronger over time. He saw how his father commanded respect through his wealth and status, how people would listen and obey without question. He observed how his mother controlled the household with her domineering personality, ensuring everything was done her way. He craved that same sense of control, that ability to make others tremble before him, to command their respect and fear. His obsession with authority manifested in strange ways, often in the meticulous organization of his surroundings. He would spend hours meticulously organizing his belongings, arranging and rearranging them with an almost fanatical precision, seeking perfection. Arranging and rearranging them with an almost fanatical precision, as if controlling these objects gave him a sense of power. He demanded absolute obedience from the servants, his voice cold and sharp, brooking no dissent, expecting immediate compliance. His voice cold and sharp, brooking no dissent, he expected immediate compliance from everyone around him. Section 6. A hunger for control. Animals too became objects of Javed's need for control. He would buy exotic birds, their colorful plumage a stark contrast to the drabness of his own existence, only to lock them away in cages, their songs stifled, their spirits broken. He would acquire puppies, their playful antics a fleeting distraction from his own internal turmoil, only to tire of them quickly, neglecting their needs, their whimpers for attention falling on deaf ears. Javed's treatment of animals was a disturbing harbinger of the darkness that lay dormant within him, a darkness that would eventually consume him, leaving a trail of unimaginable horror in its wake. Even those who knew him only in passing sensed that something was amiss. They spoke of his cold, calculating eyes, the way his gaze seemed to linger too long, the unsettling feeling that he was always watching, always judging. Section 7. The arcade opens its doors. In the heart of Shahi Mohalla, amidst the bustling shops and crowded streets, Javed Iqbal found an outlet for his twisted desires. The neighborhood, known for its vibrant energy and close-knit community, was an unlikely setting for the dark events that would soon unfold. He opened a video game arcade, its neon lights and blaring sound effects a beacon to the neighborhood children. The arcade's allure was irresistible, drawing in kids from all corners of the area. The arcade, a gaudy oasis in the midst of the dusty streets, quickly became a popular hangout for the local boys, their laughter and shouts echoing through the dimly lit space. It was a place where they could escape the monotony of daily life and immerse themselves in the world of games. Javed, once a solitary figure, relished the attention of the children. He watched them with a keen interest, his eyes following their every move. He would sit for hours, watching them play, a thin smile playing on his lips. His presence became a constant in the arcade, a silent observer of the children's joy. He became a familiar figure in the neighborhood, known to the children as Uncle Javed. His friendly demeanor and approachable nature made him a beloved figure among the kids. He was generous with his time and money, often handing out free game tokens and treating the boys to snacks and drinks. His generosity knew no bounds and the children eagerly accepted his gifts. He listened patiently to their problems, offering words of encouragement and support. The children saw him as a mentor, someone they could trust and confide in. To the casual observer, he seemed like a kind and generous man, a benefactor to the community. His actions painted a picture of a man dedicated to the well-being of the neighborhood's youth. Section 8. Pied Piper of Shahi Mohalla. But beneath Javed's carefully constructed facade of benevolence lurked a more sinister motive. He was drawn to the vulnerability of the street children, their innocence, their desperate need for affection. He saw in them an opportunity to exert his power, to manipulate and control. He became a master manipulator, showering the boys with gifts and attention, gaining their trust, their loyalty, their unwavering devotion. He became a Pied Piper figure, luring the children into his web of deceit with the promise of fun and games. He organized parties at his home, the grand house on the hill, transformed into a children's paradise, filled with laughter and music and the tantalizing aroma of forbidden treats. The children, enthralled by his generosity, their young minds oblivious to the danger that lurked beneath the surface, flocked to him like moths to a flame. Section 9. Behind the Smiles. The neighbors, accustomed to the comings and goings of children at the Iqbal residence, thought nothing of it. They saw Javed as an eccentric but harmless man, his love for children a testament to his kind heart. But there were whispers, too, hushed voices speaking of strange occurrences, of children entering the house but rarely being seen leaving, of muffled cries in the night, of a foul, chemical odor emanating from the locked basement. These whispers, dismissed as idle gossip, were the only outward signs of the horrors that were unfolding behind the closed doors of the Iqbal residence. For Javed, the game had just begun, and his eyes, cold and calculating, gleamed with a terrifying anticipation. The calm before the storm had settled, and the storm that was Javed Iqbal was about to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting city of Lahore.